Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode, I believe, 14. If I get the number wrong, who cares? Of the In From Japan
I mean, I
podcast.
care.
I mean, whatever. You know, they'll see it on the
On the description
file,
or the file
on the
type.
description, whatever, the
Yeah.
name, title, whatever you call it. Um, Welcome to the In From Japan podcast, the podcast where we talk about the latest news on Japan developed games and other things in relation to them, which is available on Spotify, Podbean, and YouTube. We're also going to try to figure out how to get onto Google Music and maybe Apple Music. I don't know. We have all the time in the world. Um, so we're going to start, as we always do, with the games we've been playing recently, and we've probably both been playing Animal Crossing.
More or less, yes. I mean, I did buy Final Fantasy VIII on sale last week,
Nice.
but that was more for my brother as an early birthday present because Final Fantasy VIII is probably his favorite. Um,
Depending on who you ask, that could be a terrible birthday present.
no, but it's his favorite, so he'll be fine. I just dipped my toes into it a bit. I didn't really play it, just up to the tutorial, which isn't saying much. But
Hmm.
I've played it more a few years back. But we'll see. I still have 12 to finish, so I might do that first.
I mean, I still have 9 to start. um, yeah, no, Animal Crossing has been fine. I finally visited my friend's island yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of whatever. Um, 'Cause I already knew the limitations and he didn't, so he's like, "Wait, you can't do this?" I'm like, "No, you have to do it this way." He's like, "Oh, that's dumb." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what Nintendo's doing when they limit
I
certain multiplayer
I
functionality."
think it was the GameSpot After Dark podcast or the Kind of Funny Games Daily podcast where they discussed it. It's probably due to it being a live session and mixing and matching certain actions would not be good for the game. So that's why it's
True, but the
limited.
fact that you have to just do the same stuff that you can be doing on your island, and there's not like in New Leaf they had like an island mini game at least.
Hmm. Well, they are treating it as a live service game, as those two podcasts
Yeah,
mentioned. So it might be something they'll add down the road.
yeah, they've been good about updating it, which I'm a little surprised on, just because it's Nintendo and I don't always expect that. But since it's Animal Crossing, I guess they have
Yeah,
to.
because they're gonna be adding seasonal events, starting with Bunny Day and then Earth Day. So if they want to keep that up, I'm guessing they're gonna keep updating and tweaking the game as we go.
Can we survive 4 more days of eggs?
I mean, we're gonna have to.
I only got one cherry blossom recipe.
Really?
I
I
yeah.
got
I see a lot of people having problems
I
with it.
got two. They're very rare to come by. Um, and it's usually after you catch a bunch of cherry blossoms that your villager will say, "Hey, I thought up a new recipe." Uh,
Oh, plus you have to, or you get the not blueprint, but the recipe from balloons.
yeah, that also helps. But yeah.
But then half of the balloons are eggs now, so it's like, ugh.
Well, you're gonna have to find the solid colored ones, not the egg colored balloons.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. How many Bunny Day recipes do you have? A fair amount, or?
A good amount. I'm not making all of them. I made a few of them just because I was like, why not? Most of
I'm
my
trying to make all of them because what's his name? Zipper said if you manage to get all the recipes, you get a surprise from me on Bunny Day.
yeah, you get a recipe for a toy of him.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a frightening thing, but
It's not worth it in my opinion.
oh well.
Give me some more new fish and bugs. That's what I want. I never got to catch a tarantula.
Whoa, never?
Nope. The ones that I saw, they both knocked me out.
There's a trick to that because you can approach them But whenever they get on their hind legs, as in attack, you have to
Yeah,
stop and wait for them to
yeah.
drop back down, and then keep on moving, like that.
There was also a method that I saw Nicole use with like digging holes or something.
Yeah, you have to trap them between holes, I guess, and then
Yeah,
use that to
and that's just yeah, and then the net will reach.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I've found quite a handful of tarantulas up till now. But the catching of bugs and fishes is dependent on the season and the time of year.
yeah,
So we might not,
and whether it's day or
yeah.
night.
So we might not get everything within the first few months.
Yeah, which is fine. Um. Okay, well, moving on. We don't have any in from Japan J-list news, or at least I don't think we do. I don't remember any like big movie or TV news just because of the current global situation. A lot of movies are kind of
Well, yeah,
halting
that is
production.
true. I mean,
Although you can watch Sonic the Hedgehog on digital now, so that
that should be fun. And we also like to shout out our buddy Vaughn, his new podcast for the My Hero Academia series, which just started. You can find it almost everywhere. Uh, they just launched episode 1, so that might tide you over in these trying times.
and as I stated on the last podcast, we may have something anime related coming up soon. So keep an eye out on the official In From Japan Twitter for that.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Um,
I guess we should go
so
over to
next,
recommended reading.
yeah, I'm like, I got like stuck. I'm just like I said before the podcast, I'm like out of it today. I'm like, wait, what's next? And as I'm looking at the document, which is organized the way it always is.
Maybe I should number them from now on.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
So the recommended reading, watching, and listening list, the content other than news that we put in the description. We put the links in. We say the author and the website. Okay, so we got Persona 5 Royals Kasumi is incredibly relatable by Jenni Lada over at Siliconera. Revisiting the ecological, yeah, the ecological warnings of Final Fantasy VII in 2020 by Carolyn Petit over at Polygon. Why Final Fantasy is the biggest RPG series of all time by Matthew Adler, IGN. Final Fantasy VII Remake's female heroes tell us about being part of a defining piece of pop culture history by James Whitbrook over at IO9. Wholesome Animal Crossing wedding, game companies doing good, and daft things to smile at. Good News Gaming. It's a new video series from GameSpot, which focuses on positive news, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing New Horizons turnip trackers are getting pretty sophisticated by Matthew Olson over at US Gamer. Metal Gear Solid 2 retrospective, Be Careful What You Wish For by Heather Alexandra over at Kotaku. Conventions can still be held, they're just happening online by Luke Plunkett over at Kotaku. Fans think the PlayStation 5 controller looks like Totoro, Ray from Evangelion, and more by Brian Ashcraft over at Kotaku. Poke Necromancer, How an Artist is Resurrecting Lost Pokemon with Amazing Illustrations by Nadia Oxford over at US Gamer, which, the artist in question, Racy B, I interviewed her for Parallax a couple years ago. So we have interview with monster artist Rachel Briggs by me over at Parallax. So that was cool. It was cool to see her be written about in a big... Well, it's funny because her art was originally in Game Informer, and then in that Game Informer article about like the Space World 1997 or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wait, who's the artist for this? Because this looks like just like Ken Sugimori would have drawn it. And then I find out she was in one of my Discord communities, and she's like, oh yeah, I did that.
Oh, wow.
And then the rest is history. Yeah.
Oh, fun fact, now that you mentioned Ken Sugimori, he added one of the designs to the new Sakura Wars game. It's a sort
and it looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah, it looks like I mean, someone said it before. They have different character designers adding their stuff to the game, and depending on who the character designer is, you can immediately notice their work. Like the one from Persona, I'm blanking on his name. And Ken Sugimori added.
Oh, I know who you're
Yeah,
talking about. I forgot the name too. I forgot that. Yeah.
they added designs,
Wh-
and the YouTube channel for Sega released a video for those designs, so you can check that out. I'm checking the Persona character designer.
While you look for that, I really like Ken Sugimori's artwork. He's still on the, according to the article, he's still on the board, like the Pokemon board, and he contributes to designs overall, but obviously he doesn't really. They're not really designed the way he used to design them.
He's probably just
Which
adding commentary, like, oh, you could do it like this or that.
I mean, he might have a few here and there, but like, yeah.
Okay, so
but his designs are just so good.
I found the character designer or art designer for Persona, Shigenori Soejima.
Yeah, that.
P1 till P5, and now he's on to Project Refantasy, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I think you believe Persona 3 to Persona 5, because 1 and 2 don't exist.
Are they different, 1 and 2?
No, I'm just making a joke.
Okay. I mean, he did most of them.
I'm making a joke because Atlas doesn't care about Persona 1 and 2.
They do care.
Then re-release them, or at least 2. Put 2 all together.
It's probably
because 2 is great. Update it with the Persona 5 Royal engine. Yeah, let's do it.
It's probably the case of them being a smaller team than we think, and because Persona is so tied to the PlayStation brand, that it makes it difficult for any of the Persona games or mainline Persona games to come on other consoles.
But Persona 1 and 2 were on PlayStation consoles.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's when you think of
put them on PS. I'm not saying put them on Switch. I'm just saying put them on PS4. Just re-release or remake or update them.
But still, you might run into the case of them being a very small team in comparison to
that's true. Yeah,
developers, and they have their hands full with Project Refantasy, probably the next Persona game,
or like Persona 5 spin-off racing all afternoon. I don't know.
Maybe, never know. So yeah.
All right. So now it's time for the news rundown, and now we have the bearer of bad news will take over. And oh my God, I didn't even say our names at the beginning of the podcast.
Fine. They know us by now.
It's in the description. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's my channel name.
Yeah, so you can't miss this.
Whatever.
Interesting thing when you call me the bearer of bad news. I think Nicole also called me like the Grim Reaper, I think, and that's kind of ironic since most of my online names are Ichigo, and that's from Bleach, which.
Oh yeah, you're a spirit reaper.
Which features a lot of Shinigami, so.
Watch out for his Bankai.
There we have that. Okay, and on to the bad news. This is Prime Minister Abe declares state of emergency in 7 prefectures in Japan, by Jennifer Sherman for NM News Network. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe announced a state of emergency in the prefectures of Tokyo, Kanagawa, Saitama, Chiba, Osaka, Hyogo, and Fukuoka on Tuesday until May 6. Abe said that he will lift the declaration after these countermeasures to the outbreak of the new coronavirus disease, COVID-19, become unnecessary. There are a lot more handy stats and tidbits in the article, so give that a read. But yeah, state of emergency in 7 prefectures in Japan. How are you guys doing? Do you have a shelter at home still, or is it already turned off?
We're all dead. No, I'm just kidding.
Who's talking to me
Uh,
then?
I don't
Oh,
know. um, uh, I mean, what it depends, because California is, I mean, California's doing okay as far as I
mm-hmm.
know. It's the usual deal in most of America where hospitals are getting like kind of overcapacity. I don't know if they're overcapacity, but they're pretty filled up.
Yeah,
People,
and medical staff is
but
working
like,
around the
and
clock.
the worst of it is over in like New
Yeah,
York.
yeah. Just
But like California, most people are just trying to obey the whole stay-at-home order. It sucks, but like, we'll get through it. It'll take a
mhm.
while, which sucks, but I also have a backyard, so I'm very privileged to have somewhere to just
You can
run
actually
back and
breathe
forth.
fresh air and get
Yeah.
sunshine.
Yeah, which is nice. Although it's been raining more recently. It's raining a bit now, but
Well, where I'm
which is also
where I'm
nice
from,
though. We need
they
rain anyway.
have a saying. Any sign of rain is a blessing. So, might be a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, 'cause in California, we experience all these droughts and fires and
Yeah.
everything.
Okay,
Um,
moving.
but yeah, we're doing all right. Anyways, moving on.
Uh,
I just had to add that. I just had to add the Japan story just 'cause it's relevant to
I mean, the gaming
a
stuff,
lot of the
man,
other.
because a lot of studios
Yeah.
are in those prefectures, and
Although I'm kind of
mhm.
surprised there was no like state of emergency. Like they were doing that. They started doing that before the prime minister declared a state of emergency. So I thought that was a kind of weird thing, but I think it was going by.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know if I shared the video with you from Reina Scully.
You told
Yeah,
me
she
about it.
talked about the situation over there, and your friend also told you about how it is over there.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, they took a pretty lax approach to the whole thing, I want to say. I might be
Yeah,
mistaken,
which I'm surprised about.
but that's also due to their hygiene being much higher than a lot of other
Yeah.
places. So, um, the danger of the disease spreading or the virus
You won't see
spreading
a trash can for
is
miles.
kind of smaller. But then again, you never know who can be an asymptomatic carrier and
Yeah.
who can infect you at any given moment. So it's
Yeah.
well, it's late, but better late than never. Um,
It also depends. I've seen it depend on where in the city you live. Like, well, okay, I know it says 7 prefectures, but I'm saying like, because Tokyo is huge,
yeah, and pretty
and
boxed
depends on which.
in.
Well, because I saw Monster Hunter YouTuber Gaijin Hunter. He was complaining about how like there were a bunch of people at the store kind of not really taking things seriously, but then in other areas, like stores are empty.
Yeah, because I don't know if they already took it seriously or kind of took a. Yeah, well, I did say they took a more lax approach, and like a lot of other Asian countries, they all already have a culture of using face masks. So I'm guessing they're pretty aware of the effects of social distancing and general hygiene when sick. So taking that in account and their overall hygiene, I'm guessing it was a pretty safe environment, but I don't want to speculate too much on that.
Yeah. All right. So moving on,
Yeah.
we got a lot of
Okay.
for
Um,
yeah, you're doing this, but we got a lot of Nintendo Switch stock issues, huh?
yeah. Nintendo comments on Switch stock issues. The late situation has not changed. Uh,
Although there was an update on
yeah,
this
it's coming
later,
later.
but
So this is by Ryan Craddock for Nintendo Life. With the impact of the coronavirus having ever increasing effects on the production and distribution of gaming hardware, getting your hands on a Nintendo Switch is now proving to be quite the challenge in some areas of the world. Um, and there's a statement which refers to an apology notice issued by Nintendo in February, in which the company warned of incoming delays for Switch consoles, controllers, and Ring Fit Adventure bundles. We didn't mention the Switch Lite because there was still enough stock in the market at the time of publication in February. But the point that many of its parts are made in China is the same. We are doing various efforts inside the company, although shipments haven't stagnated. They are getting delayed. So yeah, given everything, there might be some delays and hardware shortages.
Yeah.
And to continue that, Nintendo Switch shortage continues with no Japanese shipments this week by Jenni Lada for Siliconera. People worldwide have been encountering Nintendo Switch shortages as a result of the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. Now, Nintendo itself has issued an update concerning the amount of stock available in Japan. Via Twitter on April 7, 2020, it noted that no systems would be shipped in the country for the week of April 6, 2020. So yeah, that's a more recent update on the situation. So it's looking like people in Japan will have to find entertainment elsewhere. And then there's a final note on the shortage. In spite of shortages, Nintendo assures more Switch systems are on the way, by Eric Van Allen for US Gamer. The Nintendo Switch reached new heights of popularity after global community started social distancing. But now, the demand is resulting in Nintendo Switch shortages at major retailers. Going into 2020, the Nintendo Switch has or was already surpassing previous Nintendo consoles, bolstered by the launch of the Switch Lite. But due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the handheld console hybrid has seen a boom in popularity, heightened even further by the popularity of Animal Crossing New Horizon. Wait, is there a translation somewhere?
Here's the translation. Do you have any Switches? No, we don't have any.
Yeah. I can't. Well, I don't have a translation, but let's see.
It's fine.
Down below, both Eurogamer and GameIndustry.biz were provided statements by the US Nintendo representative on the region stock. Nintendo Switch hardware is selling out at various retail locations in the US, but more systems are on the way. The statement reads, okay, and we apologize for the inconvenience. So, despite shortages, more consoles are coming, at least in the US. So yeah, there's that. Any thoughts?
Since I already have a Switch, I'm just kind of like, okay, like that sucks for the people who want a
You're like, you
Switch,
should have bought them
who maybe
months
really want to get
ago.
a Switch right
You
now
should've been
because of Animal
prepared,
Crossing
man.
and the whole global situation and all that. But like, they'll come back.
Yeah, it's
It might take a while,
unfortunate
but
because now that we're all staying inside, we all want to do something fun or engaging, and when books and movies aren't cutting it anymore, you kind of want to see what all the new Nintendo is all about.
yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Japan's CERO ratings suspended until May due to the pandemic. By Jenni Lada.
I think it's pronounced CERO.
CERO.
CERO, cause in Japan, I believe E is eh. That's what I remember from my basic Japanese
Let's see.
lessons on my trip to Japan. A, E, O,
Yeah,
U.
CERO.
Yeah. It should
CERO.
be CERO, yeah.
I guess CERO. Anyway, what's in the name, Shakespeare would say. The Consumer Entertainment Suppliers Association, Computer Entertainment Rating Organization. Oh my god, that's a pretty tough name. Why? has been
Doof.
halted by the
That's why you call it CERO.
okay, has been halted by the COVID-19 coronavirus. This is a non-profit group responsible for assigning age ratings to games in Japan and is the equivalent of the ESRB. Due to the pandemic and Tokyo Governor Yoriko Koike decision to ask people to shelter in place, operations are being suspended and there will be no CERO ratings assigned to games until further notice. Um, if you read down below, there's a statement on all of this. And if you listen to, I think, yesterday's Kind of Funny Games Daily, Imran, in a conversation with Blessing, discussed the whole issue with CERO not being able to provide ratings. And it's all
Yeah.
based on how their system operates. And working from home makes that kind of impossible. So that's why they have been halted until further notice.
But the thing with that is that these are games that are not. These are for games that maybe aren't out, haven't been announced for release in Japan yet. So we don't know whether these games would have been localized or not, which puts a whole other problem because that's a separate thing.
What's the next biggest game?
Xenoblade, but that's already rated, so we're good
Sakura
on that.
Wars and
I was thinking like, well, no, Captain Tsubasa. Does Captain Tsubasa have a ESRB rating already? Yeah.
I'd have to check. Cap.
Because if it doesn't have an ESRB rating, it might not have. I think it might have a PEGI rating.
Tsubasa, Rise of New Champions. Let's see. It has a rating pending. Oh.
Well.
Wikipedia usually has it. Nope.
So I wonder. But like that's for us. So I wonder.
I mean,
if that means like, would CERO maybe like, because ESRB we have a thing later, but like, I don't think the other ratings boards are shutting down. So would they like have the other outsource the ratings to the other ones and be like, okay, here's how this works? And
I think that's not really possible because norms and customs don't cross over that much. Or
True.
are dependent on certain situations. Like something that can be 18 and above can be 16 and above in other places. Or some people will say, oh no, that's totally fine for a teenager, so 13 plus, we're fine with it. Or in other cases, they might say, hard 18, so this is considered adults only, more or less. So yeah, other countries might have other approaches to this.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's why you don't see ESRB ratings globally. Okay.
I do worry about like Yakuza 7 though, the localization.
Will it have an effect on localization? Probably not. I'm of two minds of this because maybe
because Yakuza 7 it's already out in Japan.
Yeah, so that wouldn't really be the case. I'm thinking more of what if the CERO rating informs the ESRB rating? Like, people will say, hey, this got equivalent of an E rating in Japan, so maybe start from there and work your way up. But in other cases, the ESRB might be saying, you know what? No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to start from the bottom and then see what you have in your game. And based on that, we're going to assign a rating. So, yeah, I guess I'd have to ask the ESRB if the CERO rating plays any impact. Which might make a nice article. We'll see.
And there's a good... I put a thing here. I don't think we need to talk about it, but there's a Nintendo Life article about like bracing for a huge knock-on effect on the games industry because of this shutdown.
Yeah.
It's a good, interesting read. I don't want to get into it, but it's just just
It's
kind of like,
pretty lengthy.
might want to expect delays
Yeah,
in the summer.
because I'm thinking that a lot of games, if not all of them, um, will try to have a simultaneous launch. If one market does not uh, seem viable, I'm guessing that feeds into their overall plan, where they say, you know what, we're gonna hold off of releasing the games.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've already seen with The Last of Us 2, how that delay has affected the game globally, not just in the US. So yeah. Moving on, Microsoft clarifies report all its events, will be digital until July 2021. That is by Tom Phillips for Eurogamer. Microsoft has clarified a statement which suggested all of its events, external and internal, would transition to a digital-first experience until July 2021. The decision suggested Microsoft was quietly pulling back from physical activities at events this summer, including its usual big showing at Gamescom, still at present set to take place in late August, but which looks increasingly likely to go digital only anyway. It also suggested Microsoft would not hold any kind of physical launch event for the Xbox Series X due this Christmas, a date Microsoft has recently recommitted to with some caveats. Okay, so as we've seen in the industry, the trend is more or less going to be all digital when it comes to showcases and events, conventions and whatnot. And I don't know, people are probably thinking, you know what, Nintendo was on the right track with this Nintendo Direct stuff. We should probably copy them now because we have no other choice. So yeah, probably look forward to more Inside Xbox and Xbox Series X reveals coming via digital. Okay. Moving on, we have Pokemon staff will stay connected during Tokyo's emergency lockdown, says Masuda, by Ryan Craddock for Nintendo Life. Okay. Let's see. Today, the Japanese government issued a state of emergency across its Tokyo, Kanagawa, Chiba, Saitama, Osaka, Hyogo, and Fukuoka prefectures, urging people to practice social distancing to fight the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Junichi Masuda, director of the Pokemon developer Game Freak, has now commented on the situation on social media. In a tweet shared to his 395,000 plus followers today, Masuda urged fans to stay safe and well at home while reassuring them that Pokemon staff will stay connected. Game Freak's
Catch Pokemon at home.
yeah, I mean Pokemon Go has also transitioned to catch from home mode,
Yeah.
so there you go. Game Freak's headquarters is located in Tokyo, one of the areas affected by the government's declaration. So yeah, everyone is really committing to the stay-at-home work stuff and just trying to keep social distancing at a maximum. We don't want to play around with this virus. We don't want any of our loved ones affected by this, and definitely none of our favorite developers or non-favorite developers affected by this. So stay safe out there.
I saw a thing that was like, we probably shouldn't be shaking hands ever again, and I'm like, well, I don't be okay with that. I'm like, does that mean we shouldn't ever touch each other ever after this is done? And I'm like, maybe not. Maybe hands specifically.
Yeah, I mean, you can still touch hands probably, but you'd have to disinfect them pretty much right after. Or we.
Yeah. No, I mean, shaking hands is kind of whatever. It's kind of, we don't really need to.
Do you know where?
I'm just saying, like.
Do you know where it's?
hugging friends and all
Uh-huh.
that. Like that I hope that's still like a thing people can do once we get through this.
Do you know where the shaking of hands gesture comes from? It
What?
comes from medieval times. It shows that you have no weapon in your hand, so it's more or less an establishment of common ground and non-combative settings.
So what you're saying is it's also insanely outdated anyway?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of outdated. Okay. Moving on to some lighter news.
I got
Okay.
this. Um So, Pokemon community bands together for weekly online Sword and Shield event. This is Ryan Craddock once again over at Nintendo Life. And basically, Joe Merrick, founder of Cerebi.net and occasional Nintendo Life contributor, oh, I didn't know that, has kickstarted a new Pokemon community initiative to get fans of the series playing together and enjoying each other's company in an online setting. For 1 hour each Wednesday, Pokemon Sword and Shield players are invited to jump into the game's online max raid battles. 50 Pokemon content creators are already on board who will be streaming their raids on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. You can easily get involved and keep up to date with what others in the community are doing by following the streams. Optional challenges will be presented each week, with this first week being Easter/spring themed. Full details can be found via Twitter thread above. Joe says the important thing here is for us to do some raids, either alone or with friends, and have fun. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using Cerebi for a lot of like Pokemon stuff, like updates on the anime or like for since like middle school, I want to say.
I've been using
Since Diamond and Pearl released in
I've been
Japan.
using them and Pokemon database more for checking up on evolutions. Like, am I supposed to evolve a Pokemon now? Do I hold off? Do I wait till they learn this move or
Or with
that move?
and then with some of the new ones, you have to figure out the best way with some of the weird methods they have
Yeah,
now.
because if you don't do your research, you're never gonna evolve all 800, more or less.
Yeah. Um, and then this story from today, another Pokemon story. This is from Jenni Lada over at Siliconera. The new Pokemon Zarude, um, I can't do Sandstorm.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Moveset includes Jungle Healing. Poised to make its debut. Um, what the character might be capable of doing in Pokemon. While the whole moveset hasn't been revealed yet, we do know its signature move is Jungle Healing. However, you'll have to work to earn it. To add Jungle Healing to Zarude's moveset, you'll first need to work with the monkey and its level up to 90.
Wow.
Only then will it have the chance to learn the grass-type move that heals every Pokemon you have on the field. So, for max raid, that would be really good for max raids.
I'm guessing, but
So if Zarude is alone, then Jungle Healing will only heal itself. Good for double battles too, restoring its HP and removing negative status effects. If you are in a double battle, the other Pokemon on your side will also be healed. As it is Zarude's signature move in Pokemon Sword and Shield, the official website reminded people only it will be able to learn it.
level 90 though.
2 Jungle Healing screenshots were also shared alongside an official art. I don't think this is the first thing that happened like that.
Really?
No, I think there's another thing that learns an attack really late. Either that, or I'm thinking of the panda Pokemon that was cut and it learned Curse at like level 100,
That's ridiculous.
or did evolve at level 100. It was one or
That's
the other. I don't
absolutely
remember.
ridiculous.
But no, there are some Pokemon that'll learn like their last attack really late. I don't know if it's 90, but I remember there's one or two. I'm pretty sure. Next story. Surprise! Platinum Games has a 5th Platinum 4 reveal soon. Well, really, it's the 4th one because the last one was an April Fool's
Yeah.
thing. This is by Hiron. How do it?
Hiron
Hiron?
Cryer.
I don't. Hiron Cryer.
Yeah.
That's an RPG name. Over at US Gamer. Platinum Games have been announcing multiple projects under the banner of Platinum 4 for the last few weeks. Although all 4 announcements have actually been made, there's a surprise 5th one on the way. You shouldn't say that. Say the other one was an April Fool's thing. Oh yeah, the bonus stage thing. Yeah, so If you stay on, it goes like it says like bonus stage. If you stay on the website for a little bit. So remember the things revealed were Wonderful 101, Project GG, the new studio in Tokyo,
And then the
and the fourth
fourth one
reveal
was
was the
a
April Fool's
arcade
thing.
machine.
So it wasn't the actual fourth reveal.
Yeah.
Who knows what it'll be? I hope Wonderful 101 isn't delayed. It probably won't be. At least not digitally. I could see that's one of the ones where I could see physical copies being delayed, but it still releases digitally. Okay.
Maybe it'll be a Bayonetta 3 reveal, I'm guessing. Because
Re-reveal? I thought they said it wasn't going to be something that was already announced.
I mean, sure, but they also said there'd be only 4 announcements, and now we have 5.
Okay, but the actual the so-called fourth one was a April Fool's
I
joke,
mean,
though.
at this point, I don't trust
So it
Kamiya.
doesn't really count.
He's up to something.
Do you want to take the next 2 stories?
Sure. Resident Evil 8 will release in 2021 as a cross-gen title, and it will be revealed in the next few months, as posted by Zarmina Khan for PlayStation Lifestyle. Known Capcom insider Aesthetic Gamer, aka Dust Golem, which I find hilarious because they put the aka Dust Golem in every one of these articles, has said that
AKA.
has said that Resident Evil 8 is all set to release in 2021, and it'll be unveiled within the next few months. It's probably headed for an E3 reveal, I'm guessing. Anyway, interestingly, Dust Golem claims that RE8 was formerly in development as Revelation 3, but Capcom wasn't in favor of a huge gap between RE7 and RE8, and decided to turn the game into a mainline title. Furthermore, RE8 will release on both current gen and next gen platforms and might prove to be divisive, as it's reportedly a departure from the series, which would mean what? Isometric perspective? RPG? I mean, if Yakuza's doing it.
I actually joked about that on what so some of our buddies from GameSpot, Jake Decker and Matt Paget, they have been doing a Twitch series when they feel like it. I don't know if they really have a schedule yet. It has pretty few viewers, but it's a chill stream. They call it Decadent Evil.
Oh wow!
Because Jake Decker, since Resident Knievel is no longer a thing at GameSpot, and now they have because Mary Kish and Mike Mahardy both don't work at GameSpot anymore, so they have Kanini.
Yeah.
But so Jake and Matt decided to do a little fake like competition thing, so they have Decadent Evil. So go check those guys out. Follow Jacob Deck on Twitch and on Twitter, because then he'll probably post the thing. But what I said was I was like Super Resident Evil RPG. I would play that. I'm not gonna lie.
It's possible. Who knows?
Because I'm not a big Resident Evil fan. The ones I like are like 5 because of the co-op, and then Darkside Chronicles and Umbrella Chronicles because they're light gun games. That's my bread and butter because of House of the Dead.
Yeah, I get you. I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil series, and I'm a big fan of.
I'm a fan of what they've done for video games as a whole, and like both 2 and 3 remake how they look it's just insane.
Yeah, it's the new RE engine, which is capable of doing incredible things.
But I'm not like a survival horror person for the most part.
I mean, I'm a survival horror person. I like the genre, and I especially like. Well, I also like horror movies, but the thing, or the one I gravitate towards the most is Resident Evil, because there's combat involved. I don't like being scared 24/7 and not being able to do anything.
Yeah.
So you being able to employ combat is a great release for all the stress and anxiety you accumulate over the course of the game.
That's true.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
like, for
hmm,
me, it's like I can't do horror movies unless they're like a horror comedy,
hmm.
like kind of like Army of Darkness or the Leprechaun series. If somebody made like a game that was like Friday the 13th or Predator, but it was Leprechaun, I'd play it.
I mean, you can petition for adding Leprechaun to something like Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I thought about getting that
More
one.
Resident Evil news. Resident Evil survey from Capcom asks if fans want more remakes and sequels by Logan Moore for DualShockers. Um, Capcom wants to know if fans are interested in more sequels and remakes of the Resident Evil series, even if it means having to buy new hardware. Despite only having just launched Resident Evil 3 last week, it seems Capcom is already gauging interest from fans with what they'd like to see from the franchise next. So it details a questionnaire that's being sent, or a survey that's being sent to select members, I'm guessing, because I didn't get anything. I, I'd like to.
You're not
I'm
cool
not cool
enough.
enough. So they're asking more or less like what will the purchasing decisions be in terms of the next generation of consoles? What are you thinking about in terms of a remake for Resident Evil? Um, and yeah, more or less that. But the question,
There were rumors I saw of them making a new Revelations game
well,
or something.
as we just discussed, Revelation 3 was in development, and now it's being turned into RE8 probably.
Oh, that's what it
Yeah.
was. Okay.
Um, but when it comes to Resident Evil, there aren't any other big remakes to think of. I mean,
If they like I said, if they remade the Chronicles games, I'd be there day one.
yeah.
But you have to give me a light gun, some kind of light gun function.
I mean, it could be possible, like they make Resident Evil Dead Aim, I'm guessing, for VR, or I mean, a VR title. They already experimented with RE7, so maybe
Yeah,
that would be the avenue to pursue, or maybe Code
I
Veronica,
heard playing that in VR is
yeah,
terrifying.
or Code Veronica X, or I'm guessing it's a long shot, but RE4. Uh, but that's
Hmm.
also the template for most modern third-person shooters, so
Yeah,
you'd have to question them as to why they'd be remaking that one.
yeah,
But yeah, I can't figure out any other games worth remaking. Maybe they redo 5 and 6 um, in a more straight horror fashion. I mean, that could be a thing, but otherwise, I'm out of ideas.
yeah. I had you take these stories just because I'm not that big of a Resident Evil fan.
I mean, I'm staring at Resident
um,
Evil 2 on sale now for $20 on PlayStation 4, and I'm very
nice.
tempted. I'm very tempted. I'm pretty sure our buddy Joseph would be pleading for dear life for me to get that game. So.
It'd be like, are you gonna give me the 20 bucks?
I mean, he'd do it happily, probably, because he's that much of a fan of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah. Speaking of horror, Xenoblade Studio. Just kidding. But that's a terrible segue because that has nothing to do with. But Xenoblade Studio Monolith Soft actually helped out with Animal Crossing New Horizons. This is by Liam Doolin over at Nintendo Life. Here's something you probably didn't know. Monolith Soft, the talented company behind the Xenoblade Chronicles series, helped out with Animal Crossing New Horizons. No, this isn't some late April Fool's joke. It's all according to a new listing on the Japanese developer's website. Unfortunately, there are no extra details about what exactly it did or how it was involved with the project. As odd as this might seem, Monolith Soft's Kyoto branch has previously provided development support for Animal Crossing New Leaf and Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. Since the company was acquired by Nintendo in 2007, it's helped out on various other titles as well, such as Splatoon and Pikmin 3 and Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Also been busy hiring staff for Breath of the Wild 2. So this is just an interesting little thing. Monolith Soft is really putting in the work.
I mean, next to their mainline games, they also help out on different projects to keep the lights on, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is not that strange because studios like, for example, Triace, of which I read an
Oh
article
yeah.
today, also helps out a lot on other franchises when they're not um,
Oh, that's right.
when they're not.
I forgot. I was talking to my friend about that because he's a really big Resonance of Fate fan.
Ah, and yeah, so Triace does Star Ocean and Valkyrie Profile, uh,
Yeah.
and when they're not busy with any of those kind of big projects, they work on other things, which is interesting because in the article I read today, I think it was in Gamatsu. Was one of the producers, I'm guessing. He said that any other mainline Star Ocean or Valkyrie Profile games are dependent on Square Enix because whether they sell or not is a big factor in
Yeah.
greenlighting new games, which is kind of a no-brainer, I guess. Um, and
I've never played a Star Ocean game.
Neither have I. Though people are pretty much in love with Star Ocean 3,
Yeah.
and Star
And
Ocean
there's another one that people really don't
2,
like.
the
I forgot which
second
one that is.
Departure remake. And I'm guessing a little bit of love for Star Ocean 4 Last Hope, but not really that positive since 5 kind of flopped. Um, but
Yeah. Resonance of Fate is really
yeah,
cool. Like I need to get the HD version because I had the
and
original on my PS3. I don't have a PS3
yeah.
anymore.
And fun fact,
And
uh-huh.
wait, what was your fun fact? Because it might have been my fun fact too.
I was
Wait.
gonna say Tri-Ace is the team that split off from the Tales team, from Tales of Symphonia and Tales of
Oh,
Fantasy.
no, it is related. It is related to that because Scott
Mhm.
Menville voices the main character in Resonance of Fate, who he also voices the main character in Tales of Symphonia,
Yeah, and also
and
Robin
also
from
Robin
Teen
in Teen
Titans.
Titans,
Yeah,
the original and Go.
yeah, uh,
He has a very distinct voice. You can automatically tell it's him.
yeah. And Tri-Ace is also has a spin-off studio called Crescendo, which also focuses more on music, I guess. Um, so yeah, this
Hmm.
is a fun fact.
All right. So yeah, Monolith Soft and Triace both doing work on RPGs and other big
Yeah.
things. Um, Next story. This is from Siliconera by Kazuma Hashimoto. Animal Crossing New Horizons sells over 2.6 million copies in Japan over 10 days. The monthly domestic sales report from Famitsu is in, and Animal Crossing New Horizons is king. 2.6 million. This seeded New Horizons at first place among the monthly ranking, with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX coming in second place, with a little over 218,000 units sold. In addition to this, Switch sales have also skyrocketed. Over 8,300,000 units were sold. The PlayStation 4 comes in second place at 64,492 units. It is more than clear that interest in Animal Crossing has boosted sales for the Switch. These numbers have been calculated from the period of February 24th, 2020 to March 29th, 2020.
Hmm.
And worldwide, it's probably like insane.
Yeah. Animal Crossing is doing great business for Nintendo.
Um,
Want me to take this one?
yeah, you can take the next two.
Okay, I'll take the next two or
Since
three.
they're the next two, I can do the third.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. E3
Just
will not host a digital event this year, contrary to earlier reports. This is by Hiring Cryer for US Gamer. Earlier this year, the physical E3 2020 event scheduled to take place in June was cancelled due to the ongoing.
I just want to say, wait, can I say something real quick? For a podcast focused on Japan related Japan developed games, we sure use US Gamer a lot.
I mean,
I'm joking
it can
around
happen.
because they do good
Yeah.
work, but That's why I put them here. But
Okay.
yeah.
As I was saying earlier this year, the physical E3 2020 event scheduled to take place in June was cancelled due to the ongoing COVID-19 outbreak. While the ESA was looking into hosting a digital event to replace the physical show, plans for the digital show have now been cancelled. In a statement supplied to PC Gamer, a spokesperson for the ESA said that given the disruption brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, we will not be presenting an online E3 2020 event in June. There you have it. E3 as one central event is cancelled for the year. Um, however,
But
yeah.
then, oh, I
However,
forgot to do the
the
IGN
ESA
thing.
spokesperson did state that the company would be working with exhibitors to promote and showcase individual company announcements, including on e3expo.com in the coming months. There's no further information to go on at this time, but it seems like E3 will attempt to host or support announcements or games that would have been unveiled or shown in some capacity at the show. Yeah, go ahead.
Did we cover it last week, the IGN thing, or was that this week?
Uh,
Did that happen this week?
it,
Everything's running
I mean, it
together.
happened this week, but we didn't cover it. Um, but starting in
Yeah,
June,
so I meant to put that there.
IGN will be hosting what is it called? Summer
Summer of
of
Games or
Gaming?
something?
Is it Summer of Gaming? Yeah. IGN announces the Summer of Gaming event in June, which you can read on IGN.com, of course, by Jonathan Dornbush. And instead of E3 hosting a digital event, IGN will be hosting one of their own with a lot of publishers and developers showcasing their new stuff. So look forward to that one. Okay, and moving on, ESA reportedly announces dates for reimagined E3 in 2021 by Joseph Knope for IGN. The Entertainment Software Association has formally announced dates for a reimagined E3 in 2021, following the cancellation of E3 2020 and IGN's own announcement of its Summer of Gaming event. You know, I could have waited and I would have had the news right here. Anyway, E3 2021 will be held from June 15th to June 17th, 2021. Yeah, so E3 as we know it is moving to next year, or being delayed until next year as we know it, and will be reimagined in some form or fashion. We have no idea as of now how that will look, but yeah, um, it's kind of sad. I mean, E3 as a thing not being there, um, it shaped so much of
Yeah.
my sense as a gamer. Um, and
I had the chance to go several times, so that was nice.
yeah, so yeah, it's weird, very weird. But yeah, on to the next thing.
Oh, I was gonna. Well, we can. We're gonna discuss it, but
Mm-hmm.
basically, um, the Sony or PlayStation, they revealed their PlayStation 5 controller, not the DualShock 5, but the DualSense. And
Bet your bottom dollar people are still going to be calling it DualShock 5.
DualShock 5 just sounds better. I don't know. Anyways, features of DualSense, so it'll have like haptic feedback. It doesn't have a share button. It has a honk button. I mean, it's not a honk button, but it looks like the
Hmm.
Untitled Goose Game honk. I don't like that it's white.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that it's mostly white because it could get dirty easily. But then again, I had an Xbox 360 and that controller didn't really get too
Yeah.
bad. So,
And
and also there'll be other
yeah, there
colors.
are definitely going to be other colors. And maybe fingers crossed they'll have something like an Xbox Design Lab where you can create your own color scheme and personalize it.
Yeah, hopefully it also
That
works
would be awesome.
because when I tried, it didn't work. Um, but is it just me or some of the details they'll have much the haptic feedback. I think the
Mm-hmm.
Joy-Cons also have that. Um, powerful.
Well,
Adaptive triggers, L2 and R2 buttons.
haptic is a bit different, where it's a response to you touching something. Like, for instance, when you touch your phone screen and it vibrates, to simulate a physical reaction. So it's more of that kind of thing. I don't know exactly how that would feel. There are also rumble motors in the triggers, much like the Xbox One controller. Um, so yeah, it's definitely a more advanced thing, and I can't wait to get my hands on it and see what the fuss is all about.
Yeah. Um, what? So there's a what was it? It's not a share button now. It's the create button. And there's
Yeah.
supposed to be new ways for players to create epic gameplay content to share with the world. So maybe just
Well,
clipping it
um,
easier.
I think it was the Podcast Beyond episode of this week where Max Colville said that they're probably going to be making GIFs with that button because
Oh my
GIFs are
god.
pretty popular
Oh god.
on Twitter and TikTok. Uh, so that could be a thing.
Yeah. Um, is it just me or do the buttons look kind of flat?
Um, I don't know. It might be the lighting. Um,
At least flatter than compared to. There's obviously an outline and like,
Again,
but
it might be the lighting. We really need
and I'm not saying the D-pad looks okay, but the face buttons they do look a
flush
little.
the
So
control.
I'm wondering. Yeah, so I'm wondering if it's one of those things where it's like you'll still feel yourself pressing it, but it's less of a is more of just a bump
Mm.
on the controller than an actual button, which that would not be good. At least I wouldn't like that. I think it's a okay, now that I look at it a little okay. No, now that I'm looking at it a little closer, they look like buttons like usual.
Hmm.
Okay, so maybe from far away it just kind of looked
Yeah.
weird.
And do you know if they have the triggers as
That white on white
as they did
does
with
not do any
yeah.
favors.
I mean they did recently release an add-on for the PlayStation 4 controller, the DualShock 4 controller. So it'd be weird if they would not add this. Let's see.
The back button thing?
Hmm?
Are you talking about the
Yeah,
back
the back
button
pedals.
add-on?
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
none of
know.
the
I
images
did.
feature it, so I can't.
Yeah, they haven't showed. They only showed it from one side.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, they didn't show it from one side. They showed it from two. No, here's one. Um. Okay, now that I see it, no, the buttons are buttons. Okay, I didn't even see this picture before.
Yeah,
I
because
only saw
the
the
buttons are
initial.
crystal clear-ish, so that makes it look like it's pretty much
Yeah, this
flat
one.
or flush with the controller.
I just
Um,
nobody. I didn't see anybody like retweeting this picture specifically. So
yeah, but I don't see
I didn't
any
even know
back
this picture
pedals.
existed. No, no back panels.
I'm not seeing it. They
Um,
might be there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what it's like. We still need to know a little more about the console and its games and stuff, and whether it will be delayed or not.
I mean, they're
Um,
still confident.
they don't think it
They're
will,
still confident of
but
hitting the holiday 2020 release, but with games being delayed left and right, you're gonna have to wonder, okay, will any of the next gen games make it holiday
yeah.
season, or do they expect us
And then
to?
we're looking at like these other delays too, and it's like, okay, will stuff from this gen be? Will there be more cross-gen stuff now?
Hmm. I mean,
Stuff like that.
do they expect us to be playing current gen console games abreast for PS5 and Xbox Series X? Who knows? Fingers crossed, everything goes according to plan.
Yeah, fingers crossed things start getting better by holiday 2020, which I know some people say is optimistic, but I like
I
to be
mean,
optimistic. We need
I
optimism.
hate to say that my prediction was right, that this or the coming console generation will probably move till next year, but it's looking more and more likely. So I'm
But
sorry I
then
jinxed it,
again,
everyone.
it would holiday 2020 is at the tail end of the year anyway.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like, well, depending on where they move it, it's like, okay, whatever. And like, there are plenty of people who are like, I know plenty of people who are like, wait, the PlayStation 5 is coming out already? I just got a PlayStation 4.
yeah.
You know?
It's also because PlayStation hasn't really been um, advertising themselves in more of the well-known or mainstream quote-unquote publications. So you're not
Yeah.
seeing it on IGN or Polygon or GameSpot, but you're seeing it in Wired of all places.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how many average Joe gamers read Wired magazine or
Yeah,
Wired
that's
as a
true.
publication online. It's such a strange thing to have the best-selling console and the next version of that or the next iteration of that not being announced with any fanfare whatsoever. It's so strange. It's so strange.
Yeah. Um, moving on to the next
Mm,
story. Final Fantasy Tactics director Yasumi Matsuno is a hardcore Final Fantasy XIV player. Why Matsuno is collaborating with the Final Fantasy XIV team again.
mm,
This is by Mike Williams over at US Gamer. Um, so the guy, the director for Final Fantasy Tactics, and co-director of Final Fantasy 12, he's going to be he is working on with the Final Fantasy 14 team again. He originally contributed to the development of the Return to
mm,
Ivalice raid, which heavily references Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy 12. And he returned
yeah.
to Final Fantasy 14 to craft the Save the Queen relic questline for the Shadowbringers expansion. According to Yoshida, according to Final Fantasy XIV director Naoki Yoshida, Matsuno is a repeat collaborator because he's a hardcore Final Fantasy XIV player. Mr. Matsuno is a game creator that I look up to, and he is also a hardcore Final Fantasy XIV player. We talk quite a bit about Final Fantasy XIV outside of work as well, so creating that kind of mutual excitement through those conversations may lead to me asking Mr. Matsuno or even other creators to work on Final Fantasy XIV again.
I mean,
Hopefully they're able to work together in the future. Considering the existing relationship, having Yasumi Matsuno working on the scenario would be amazing. Until then, players can tie themselves over with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'd like to contribute too to Final Fantasy 14 if Square would actually allow me to play the game, but oh well. I
Square,
digress.
let Jason play the game.
I'd like to, but you're not allowing me, man. Like, I
Do I know
gave you
anybody
my
who works at
money.
Square?
I
No.
actually literally gave them my money, but they still won't let me play the game.
And you can't get on like a server of like a country near you that has it, or do they not have it
No,
either? Does South America just doesn't have it?
it's not geo restricted because I know of people in my country who are playing Final Fantasy 14. It's just the um, the SKUs for Final Fantasy 14 are so fragmented and so confusing on the different platforms that I'm guessing the way I bought it or my entry into that sub series created some kind of internal conflict in their servers because I started on
Oh,
PC with the beta, played that for free until for like 14 days, I guess. And after that, I never bought a real subscription. And then when it came to PS4, I tried to get into the free test period, but they said I wasn't allowed because I already have a account registered to PC. So then I figured, okay, if I buy Final Fantasy 14, the game for PS4, they'll allow me to play it. But no, they won't.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Uh huh.
you should have done what I did.
And that is?
So I started on PS4,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know, and I tried to get I couldn't get my like account back. It wouldn't let me get it on PC when I decided to switch to PC.
Mm-hmm.
So I just made a new account altogether.
So the thing is, on PS4, that's difficult because your Final Fantasy 14 account is hard locked to your PS4 account.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, so that's
the
different.
ironic thing is, I have it installed or had it installed on my PS4, and I couldn't play it, but my brother with his profile could play it, which is such a huge middle finger to the person that actually bought the game.
They just don't like you.
Yeah, I don't know what I did to spite them, and I digress.
Next story, again about Final Fantasy XIV, is Final Fantasy XIV's Naoki Yoshida would love to collaborate with Blizzard Entertainment. This is from Mike Williams, the US Gamer, once again. I'm trying to get through to the actual meat of the article. This is mostly about the story of Final Fantasy XIV. But I don't see... Don't make the headline like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, It's not the first time that Final Fantasy XIV... Wait. Nomura... Yorha Dark Apocalypse, designed by Yoko Taro. Final Fantasy Tactics. Oh, here we go. It's right at the end. Final Fantasy XIV has already had special crossover events with Monster Hunter World, Dragon Quest X, Yokai Watch, and the Japanese television series Garo. Really? That's a Tokusatsu show. Could a Final Fantasy XIV / World of Warcraft crossover follow, bringing it together two rivals? Perhaps only in my dreams. But he said, like, yeah, he would love to work with Blizzard someday. Hold on. I need to find, because this article is being weird.
I mean, it would be cool to see like a Blood Elf.
There are many people that I look up to, but personally I would love to work with the people at Blizzard Entertainment. Okay. It was just like one quote that they expanded into a huge thing. You know, I guess that's a little shaky because of Blizzard's whole China, Hong Kong thing. Although people seem to have forgotten about that as soon as Overwatch 2 was announced, so, you know, I
mean... Okay, Blizzard as a business did a crappy thing, but the team that's actually making the game, and the people that are involved in developing the game, you can't really fault them for wanting to make something and provide you with entertaining content. So it's a tricky situation, and everyone else has a different opinion on it. I mean, it's a question of separating art from the artist.
Yeah, and like a lot of employees were against it at the time and protesting themselves and stuff, so it's like, you know, it's still... Anyways, getting back to the actual article, a crossover would be interesting.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take the next one, which is Falcom interview.
So this is a long interview, that's why I was gonna... So it... Oh, whoops! I put the wrong link there, that is my bad.
It's the wrong link, wait. Is it the one by Gamatsu?
It's a Gamatsu article. Yeah.
Okay. Falcom interview with President Toshihiro Kondo on Trails.
But it's a long article.
It's a long article, yeah.
So the main thing I got out of it was like they're working on some new trail stuff and localizations, and the main thing is that and I don't know if this was confirmed before, but he said a East 9 localization is currently being worked on.
Yeah.
And I don't remember them saying that before.
Well, it was announced as to being in development, but it was never officially confirmed to be making its way to the West. We all just
Yeah.
assumed it would, because East 8,
Yeah, so localization confirmation is what I was.
yeah, East 8 has done very well in the West, and the other East games have
Yeah.
been localized, and East Memories of Celceta has also gotten a new release for PC, I'm guessing. So there's
Yeah.
that. Um,
You can get
and
East 8 on pretty much everything.
yeah, so everyone automatically assumed, okay, East 9, it's also coming to the West. But now it's officially been confirmed.
Officially
And
confirmed. Um,
also,
what it
mhm,
said is that he said I very much regret that we were unable to release Zero and IO, the Kizeki, the Trails games
mhm.
in the West. I think that releasing on PlayStation 4 will lead to an opportunity to release these games in North America and Europe.
Yeah, so tr
Because I guess,
Trails of the Sky, or Trail, is it Sky? I think it's Sky. No, that's the other one. Ao no Kiseki. Zero no Kiseki, wait. The Legend of Hero.
I don't know about the Trails games, so this is all you. Because
Yeah.
my takeaway from this was East 9.
Uh-huh.
That was East 9 was my takeaway from this,
No,
not
it's
the
it's
trail.
the Trails Crossbell arc. The Zero no Kiseki and Ao no Kiseki.
Oh, okay.
They're getting a PS4 re-release, as I understand it,
Yeah.
and them getting a PS4 release might make it a smoother transition for them getting a Western release. Fingers crossed, because all the other Trails games are more or less in the West, like Trails of the Sky or Trails in the Sky. I'm sorry. 1, 2, and
Cold
3. Yeah,
Steel.
Trails of Cold Steel 1 through 4, and the next one in the series, Hajimari no Kiseki. Also maybe coming to the West. So you have to ask, okay, are the most requested entries in the series finally going to be making their way to the West? Because no lie, every kind of interview I see on this series, I see a question regarding the Crossbell arc games. So
Hmm.
here's to hoping. I still need to go back to Trails in the Sky. Um, I'll get to it, I promise.
I need to finish East 8. I barely started it.
Didn't you play it?
I actually need to go back to. I barely started it. I've played it, but I'm still in the beginning.
Like, I mean, I have both of them, like Trails in the Sky and Trails of Cold Steel. Um, and I'm past the prologue in Trails in the Sky. Legend of Cold Steel, I still have to start. But we'll see. I mean, I just bought Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy VII is going to be my life for the foreseeable future, I guess. So we'll see.
As it will for all of us. Um, so the next story, I'll take this.
Do you want me to do it?
No, I
Okay.
got it. ESRB, PEGI. Oh, okay, ESRB and PEGI. Okay, I didn't know that. Reassure on possibility of shutdown, game delays. Oh, so that was an update. So this earlier it was just ESRB. Um, so original story. The U.S. Games Rating Agency, the ESRB, has placed down any possibility that it will shut down during the outbreak of COVID-19, potentially delaying games waiting to receive ratings. This follows the shutdown of Japanese games rating. I mean, Japanese. Yeah, well, that's right.
Mhm.
Rating agency CERO until May 6th. CERO explained its ratings process is dependent on reviewers visiting the office and thus cannot continue operations until the countrywide lockdown is lifted. With console games requiring a CERO rating to see a release in Japan, it is led to worry about game delays in the country. Speaking to IGN, the ESRB has quelled fears about a similar situation in the US, despite moving to a work-from-home solution in recent weeks. Thanks to a good deal of advanced planning, since March 16th, ESRB has been operating remotely due to COVID-19 outbreak, explained the spokesperson. We have seen no delay in assigning ratings. We will continue to assign ratings remotely for as long as required. All console manufacturers and most digital storefronts require games to receive an ESRB rating to allow a US release, meaning any stoppage of ratings could see games delayed. Thankfully, it seems that won't be a problem. And then they reached out to PEGI. Oh, by the way, this is an article by Joe Screbbles over at IGN. So PEGI, the European Games Rating Agency, has told IGN that it too is working remotely with minimal impact on its work. In short, yes, we are currently working remotely with minimal impact on our operations. When this situation started to unfold across Europe a couple weeks ago, we quickly found a way to continue our daily operations by working remotely. Given that PEGI in Brussels works with two independent administrators that are located in the Netherlands and the United Kingdom, and they deal with publishers all over the world that we do not have to meet in person, cooperating remotely has always been part of our daily routine. But now it happens from homes instead of different offices. We informed the companies using the PEGI system that, until local authorities announce a change to current measures, we will be working like this. But until now, the impact of the pandemic and the resulting measures have been minimal.
So, when it comes to Western games, there will probably be no delay.
Well, not from ratings.
Yeah. I mean, but
There might be delays from manufacturing,
sure. But if a game can't be rated, it also can't be released.
which means Western indie games should be good for the most part, because a lot of them get physical releases long after the fact anyway.
Yeah.
So, well, also it depends. It depends on how the indie devs themselves, if they had an office or they have a way to work from home, and it depends on a lot of things. But maybe some indies being developed, they were already working from home, so different things. So that's just good news in contrast to the CERO stuff.
Yeah.
Again, that doesn't mean nothing will be delayed. It just means we don't have to worry about one thing delaying them.
For the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'll take this next one too.
Next up is Rhythm Heaven Composer.
I'll take.
Okay, you can take.
I was gonna take. These two, and then you can take the last one.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Hold on. I'm gonna open the link. Okay. So this is by Alistair Wong over at Siliconera. Rhythm Heaven composer Sunku. That sounds like a freaking sound effect. Wants to make another game. Rhythm Heaven series composer Sunku expressed on Twitter that he hopes to make a new game that can be made. Hopes that a new game can be made for Nintendo Switch in response to a fan who wished that a new game could release so that they could play it during the quarantine period. In his Twitter message, Sunku stated that he also wants a new game to come out on Nintendo Switch and for fans to be more vocal to Nintendo on the topic. He believes the game would be great for the system as it's not just a game you can enjoy alone, but also one you can play together with family and friends. Sunku has been a composer for Rhythm Heaven series since the first unlocalized game on Game Boy Advance, and has been his main composer since then. However, he was out of commission for a few years after Rhythm Heaven Fever, due to a battle against cancer. As part of his treatment, he had his vocal cords removed. I did not know that.
Whoa.
That said, he returned to provide new tracks to go with some rhythm minigames added to the compilation released Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix on Nintendo 3DS. Sadly, since Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, released in 2015 in Japan and 2016 in the West, the series has been dormant for around nearly 5 years now. Mega Mix available. So, I always hear good things about Rhythm Heaven. The funny thing is, down the street we have a local pharmacy, the Rite Aid, and they're not, local pharmacy stores in America, they're not like known for selling games, at least not these days. They would sell games back in like the 90s when everybody was selling Game Boy games and stuff. But so they always have this like small section of games with their DVDs, and it's not really organized at all. Mostly like shovelware, like Wii games, like Zuzu Pets, or like the Hamtaro Nintendo DS game, or like 10 different copies of the Sunday with a Chance Nintendo DS game. And then the one thing that's always there is Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah.
completely sealed in box. Well, they're all
Wow.
sealed in box, but yeah. So it's just that's part of why I put this on here, because I'm like, oh, I always see that game and I'm interested in it.
Maybe he's waiting on you to
I
buy
don't.
it.
Well, I don't plan on going anywhere in the foreseeable future, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was still there after this whole quarantine's over. All those games stay
Oh
there
wow.
because they're all from last gen. It's DS games, a couple PS3 games, and a couple 360
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
and most of them are shovelware. So pretty sure they have Eminem's Beach Party there, and they're all like full price still
Oh
too. So
wow.
that's not great. I mean, Rhythm Heaven is only $20, but like the Shrek whatever the Shrek party game for
Mm-hmm.
360 is, or Monsters vs. Aliens or whatever, like also $20 when it should be like two. But they are sealed. Um, Next story. This is from today, I think. Danganronpa 10th anniversary monthly news broadcast begin in May. So this is from Sawaramoto over at
Mm-hmm.
Gamatsu. Danganronpa will celebrate its 10th anniversary this year, and Spike Chunsoft is planning various related measures. One of those measures is, oh wow, he has a grammatical error, is the distribution of a monthly Danganronpa only news broadcast, which will begin in May. Details will be announced at a later date. Various news related to games, merchandise, collaborations, and more is being prepared, which will be shared through various opportunities such as the monthly broadcast. Spike Chunsoft will announce more information at the Famitsu and Dengeki Game Awards at Nico Nico Net Chokaigi 2020 on April 18th at 1830 Japanese Standard Time, which I have no idea, um, which you will be able to watch on YouTube. Um, so, for games, you have to remember that the original creator, he's doing Tokyo Games now. He has his own independent studio now.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if it means we could get some Danganronpa releases on Switch.
I mean, I don't think it was dependent on him still working there, because
No, 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 no. No, what I'm saying is don't I wouldn't say expect a brand new game right
mhm,
away. I'm saying
probably
I
re-release
wonder if it's
one,
more
two,
likely,
three for the Switch.
yeah, for a Switch release.
Hmm.
Cuz it's on PS4 and PC already.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, and these games are done by NIS, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And
Pretty sure.
NIS pretty much has a good relationship with Nintendo nowadays, so I also don't see why not. Um, but
Well,
mhm,
also you got to remember the original Danganronpa games were on the PSP and the Vita, pretty sure.
mhm. Yeah, that is true. Um, and I was wondering, since Uchikoshi isn't at the company anymore as a full-time employee, but rather at Tokyo Games, do you think he'll come back as a contractor like Ueda did for Last Guardian? What do you think?
Uchikoshi didn't do Danganronpa.
Oh yeah, right. I'm thinking.
He did
Yeah,
Zero Escape.
I'm confusing the two, but both of them.
But now that you mention it, if Uchikoshi just was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go work on this Danganronpa
Yeah, you'd
game,"
be so thrilled, wouldn't you?
yeah,
But both of them are now at Tokyo, right?
yeah, they founded the studio together and they're
Yeah.
collaborating on several things.
Wait, is it Yoshinori Terasawa?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it
Hold
says
on,
here it was produced by
it's
Yoshinori Terasawa, but it's probably someone else I'm
that
thinking
doesn't
of.
sound familiar. Um,
Wait, I can just look up.
Kazutaka Kodaka.
Oh yeah, Kodaka.
According to our friend Callie Plaguey, in an interview she did with him, he said that Danganronpa fans are his nakama.
Well, just so you know, Nakama isn't just a word from One Piece.
No, I know that.
No, I meant the listeners.
No, oh. You think I don't know?
I'd never assume. Uh,
Nakama, yes.
so yeah,
I like to think of our listeners as Nakama because we only have like 3.
yeah. I mean, any listeners in Nakama at this point. I mean, whatever. Moving on. Final story for today. Nintendo Switch.
Well, not the
I
final
mean, final
story
news
technically, because
story.
our main topic is technically a news story. But yeah,
You know what I mean. Anyway,
yeah.
Nintendo Switch update data maintenance scheduled for later this month by Ryan Craddock for Nintendo Life. Nintendo has confirmed an upcoming spot of network maintenance, which could have minor impact on Switch's online services. On Monday, the 20th of April, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Time, that's 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. following the morning Central Eastern Time. Maintenance is planned for the distribution of update data. Um, what that means exactly is unclear, although Nintendo notes that during the maintenance window, network services may be unavailable. So, yeah, expect some maintenance and some online connectivity not being available for the duration of maintenance. Okay, that's all the news stories, besides the main topic, of course. Are you gonna do the intro for the Cooking Mama thing?
Oh, yeah. I got distracted for a second. Just to clarify the Nintendo Switch thing, I put that there because um, so after my friend and I played Animal Crossing, he wanted to trade some Pokemon because he needed to complete his Pokédex. We had no idea the servers were down.
Hmm.
Like I didn't see any news on it, and I was like, did we miss that, or maybe it was like an emergency? I don't know. We just couldn't. So I was like, okay, like so there's a general Nintendo Switch update. I don't know if that has to do anything with
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon specifically. I just thought it was interesting. Um, Speaking of interesting, and this is where it gets really interesting. Um, there's a whole Cooking Mama thing going on. What the heck is going on with Cooking Mama? Well, first they said first it disappeared off of the eShops and nobody was sure. Then people said it was because it was bricking switches and or not bricking
It
switches,
was overheating.
draining battery
Yeah,
power.
overheating.
Yeah, draining battery power, overheating, and mining cryptocurrency. Um, so this first story right here. So I put all the stories in the main
Mm-hmm.
topic. Um, Cookie Mama Cookstar cryptocurrency saga takes yet another turn as publisher blames coronavirus. As everybody is aware, the whole world is upside down with delays right now. IGN reported a Switch title was released on the US eShop last week, but it's been pulled. Currently not available to purchase. And they said, first playable, stressed that claims regarding blockchain tech being used in the game were hypothetical. As the developers, we can say with certainty there is no cryptocurrency or data collection or blockchain or anything else shady in the code. The Nintendo Switch is a very safe platform with none of the data and privacy issues associated with some mobile and PC games. This is a release from February 2019. We presume hypothetical like most releases about blockchains are. Blockchain was never brought up to us developers, and we were entertained to hear about it in late 2019. Not happening anytime soon. This statement was quickly followed by data miner reports which suggested that the offending code was removed prior to launch, and this could perhaps be the root cause of the game being removed from sale. The battery does drain fast due to shoddy removal of said code. Game works awful. So it looks like they updated it, but then we learned a bit more, and we said Cookie Mama Cookstar pulled over legal dispute and not wait, what? Wait, this is the same. Wait, hold on. Did I put the same link? I did the thing again. Yeah, I did the same thing again. Whoops.
It happens.
My
It
bad.
happens. It's interesting.
Hold on. I'll get the details right
It's
now.
interesting because You'd assume Cooking Mama being a kind of well-known brand that they wouldn't screw this up, but somehow they did.
Okay, so this is from KeenGamer.com, a source we don't usually use, but it was the first one that popped up.
Yeah.
So, removed from eShop over legal battle.
Yeah, because there
So,
are actually two publishers for the Cooking Mama franchise, like the original ones, and the
yeah. Oh, yeah, it was weird. That's right. It was weird, because I remember them talking about this on Games Daily. It's an exclusive story on Screen Rant, of all places.
yeah. So it goes that the original creators are not the same, or the original publishers are not the same as the one that would be releasing Cookstar, which is weird
Yeah.
because that probably never happens unless a game is bought by another company or another publisher.
Yeah.
Um, and even then, you'd know. But this is so weird, and it was definitely kind of funny games daily where Imran and Blessing were talking about it, and Imran I think
Yeah.
said that the original owners of the IP were probably like, you know what, you messed this up way too bad. We're gonna take our property again, and we're not letting you touch it again. Um, which
Yeah, so we have
mhm.
a quote here from one of the developers who wishes to remain anonymous. The statement about cryptocurrency was all buzzwords. The head of Planet Entertainment knows very little about these things. He just put some fancy language to get potential investors who like that stuff. As for the crashes and overheating, that would be because the game is made in Unity. By many people working on their first game. It's not the best product, but it made it through several vigorous reviews by Nintendo and
So
Sony.
that
There's no way crypto mining stuff could get through those tests. I doubt anyone at 1P would even be able to make such a thing.
so
But then they clearly a lack of communication between the publisher and development team, as there's so this kind of behavior is pretty standard. So at one point, the Japanese official create clients came to oversee development. An argument started, and the clients were told to go home if they weren't being constructive. Once they found out that Planet Entertainment released the game, they used their Nintendo contacts to pull it from the eShop and stop production of cartridges. Overall, everyone at 1P loves the Cookie Mama franchise and did their best to make the product, considering the interference from the higher-ups. I think the game is far from perfect, but would have done fine without the publisher stumbling so constantly. What?
so I don't believe that the thing the person is saying is true. Like Nintendo certification and Sony certification can be pretty strict. But then again, when you look at the eShop, you're also wondering, okay, how did this get here? Um,
Sony can be pretty bad, yeah, but no, Nintendo. From talking to indie developers, yeah, Nintendo certification can take a while. You have to go through a couple
yeah,
hoops.
so it's also difficult to screw that up, and the fact that they screwed it up this badly leads to a lot of questions, and makes me wonder, should Nintendo and Sony up their certification procedures or be more strict? Um, or did something else happen? I don't know. This is such a weird saga. And it's probably in the running for weirdest gaming news of the year.
Yeah, and the year is young.
Yeah. I mean, we're not even on half of it yet.
Yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, like Cookie Mama, it's just like this is a game that people are like, oh, I like that series, but like then it's just like this is the game that this happens to. Like, well, if you expected Cookie Mama to be in the news a lot, well, so this is just crazy. And physical copies are now available again, according to
I
Siliconera.
mean, they were probably already shipped and put in
Yeah,
stock, so that's maybe why people could get their hands on a physical edition. But they were probably also ordered back. Um, so you might be looking at a very rare game in the near future.
yeah, Office Create and legal issues and product page, Planet Entertainment, and so it's just a whole mess, and it's so interesting. Like this is the kind of thing once the full story is out, this is the kind of thing I need to see
A Jason
like
Schreier.
a movie or oh well that too, but well yeah, Jason Schreier piece, and then based on that, like also a movie or miniseries.
This would
Just
make it.
do the history of Cooking Mama leading up to this
I
point.
mean,
Call it the
after
Cooking Mama conspiracy.
Tiger King, this would make a great Netflix documentary series.
This would be a lot better than
Yeah.
Tiger King because it wouldn't involve animal abuse.
I mean, maybe it involves
Uh,
people abuse, but we don't.
oh,
This is such a
okay,
good story.
you know, uh, yeah. This is just what the. Now it makes me want to can somebody just do like a deep dive into the Cooking Mama series in general? Just not. Just strike the iron while it's hot. I'm sure somebody's working on it because I think
I
that would
mean,
be an
if you
interesting
look it up
read.
on YouTube, there's probably a fan channel somewhere that did a deep dive of the history
Right?
of. So yeah. Um, such a weird thing. Such a
Yeah.
weird.
You did you hear what I said? Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
No, you cut out. So I was vamping for a little
Oh,
bit.
I was saying somebody should do a retrospective on the whole Cooking Mama series.
Oh yeah, I did hear that. So then I said there's probably a YouTube channel somewhere that already did a history of. But yeah, I'm guessing that's
There's a Wikipedia article.
mm-hmm.
There's the evolution of Cooking Mama. There's not really a yeah. Maybe I should write. Well, I don't have any Cooking Mama games. Maybe I should write a retrospective, and then Did You Know Gaming can use it as a source.
Fingers crossed.
But I don't have experience with Cooking Mama, so I'll let somebody else do it. We have one question before we, because that was our main topic, and there's only so much to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so
Yeah.
weird. We also have a shorter podcast because
Which is
there has been kind of less news this week,
which is fine.
in a way.
I mean, you know what?
No, I'm glad. It's just like I didn't want to put too much news again.
Yeah.
Like when we had Nicole having a 3-hour podcast, that was okay because we had a guest on.
Yeah.
We were talking about Animal Crossing the whole time. But we did a 3-hour podcast last week, and that was just because I put way too much news. We have one question here from Samurai Media Mainframe Global. I don't know who that is. Probably somebody from one of my Discords.
Wow.
Will the PlayStation 5 be more pricey than the previous PlayStations? I mean, that goes into speculation because we can't predict that. We're not analysts.
Yeah, I mean, you'd also have to adjust to inflation. The previous generations. And from what I've read so far,
$299?
when adjusted to inflation, it's more or less on par with the previous consoles. Also, judging by the hardware that's put into these consoles, when you equate that to a PC, you're getting a hell of a lot of a better deal than you'd be thinking, because a PC or an equivalent PC with that setup would cost you about $1,200, and getting that for even 600, which would be half, would be a steal. But seeing as 600 is such a way up north price for the average consumer, it being 500 or even 450 would be an absolute steal. And it's been said before that console manufacturers usually sell their consoles at a loss and then recoup whatever they lose with software sales. So it being relatively affordable is not a sign of inferior quality. It's just maybe a difference in how their business is set up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? I didn't expect us to get a question like that because it's like, I mean, I promoted this podcast on several of my Discords.
It's a good
and
question.
That just kind of, It just kind of surprised me because we don't get questions that often,
Mm-hmm.
and when we do, it's usually like other people from Parallax or like, and they're questions pertaining to like our thoughts on certain things. That not like something like not that the same kind of
Mm-hmm.
question.
But it's a good question nonetheless, and um, with everything considered, I'm guessing the PS5 will be a bit cheaper than the Xbox Series X. Uh,
Really?
yeah, probably. Because if you
So
put
you
it
think
next
we're
to,
gonna start at the you think we're gonna start at the opposite of the previous of the not the previous well not the current generation but the previous one where the PS3 was like 600 and how much was the Xbox
I
360 at
mean,
launch?
the
Like
the Xbox One at the start was a bit more expensive with the Connect bundled in.
oh right,
Yeah, so
but that was also the Connect.
yeah, that was the inferior one, quote unquote. So this one, when you put the specs of the PS5 next to the Xbox Series X, then you could suggest that the PSX, or sorry, PS5 is inferior, big quotation marks, to the Xbox Series X. But when factoring in software and hardware architecture in the way it's designed, it might make it a lot more efficient to stream data from hard drive to the game screen.
Yeah.
So it's not a pound for pound thing. And if you follow a lot of developers on Twitter, you're also going to be seeing them saying, the teraflops conversation is pretty misinformed because the way we describe them is not the same as how they are used. Uh, we're thinking of it as a pure specs race, as in a bigger number equals more power or more things you
Yeah.
can do, but that's not necessarily how it pans out in practice. So we'll see.
Will it be more pricey than previous PlayStations? Maybe. I don't know.
I'm guessing either 450 or 500.
299. I'm just kidding.
One can only hope.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna call it for now. That was our only question. So we'll see you guys next time. Make sure to wash your hands, stay home. You don't have to stay inside. Just you can go outside if you want. Just social distancing, 6 feet or more, all of that. Still get exercise. Do what you
Yeah,
can.
get plenty of rest.
Um,
Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself.
don't get too much rest. Yeah. Tip your local delivery person.
Yeah.
Uh, for food and groceries and such. And we will
See you next time.
see you guys on next time. Yeah.